Hi all, it's Vanessa Love, and this is my channel about the mental health field and kind of related topics. I'm going to talk about two things today: about finances and then about like big pharma companies, pharmaceutical companies. I want to talk about these systems because I think that they do need to be changed, and that when you're unaware of what kind of is the system, then you don't know that it needs to be changed. So yeah, I'm like, oh, here goes. So let's say you go into Marshall's, you go into, any of these like, kind of commercial stores, and at the end, you're checking out and they ask you if you want to sign up for a credit card. I find it so odd that you can work at a place like Marshall's and actually be working for like Visa or MasterCard. Like you're making them money. Like when you sign up people for those cards, like they give you kickbacks. Like they definitely give incentives for like signing up people for those cards. But like in reality, you're making a lot for MasterCard or Visa, whichever one is, owns these cards, that like because they're getting sometimes the APR if like the person doesn't pay within that 18 months or whatever. They're getting late fees. They're getting bonuses. Like it's weird. Like it really is weird. And like Marshalls and the credit card companies are the ones who are like making these deals. And I mean, I would imagine that like Marshalls isn't just like, okay, yeah, come on in, we'll have your cards here. They're probably getting like incentives as well. And it's just amazing to me. I did work in one of these places that had the credit cards, right? So what happened was, they give you incentives. And I think like it was something like, sign 50 or 100 people up and get, $200 or something, like, on a gift card or something, like nothing that was like, here's cash. So they would do that, right? And I know some of the people there weren't making a lot, so they were kind of in a desperate situation. And of course, like companies don't always want to like, pay a lot of money for workers. So they have you kind of in a bind where like you're maybe making just enough, and like this incentive looks amazing for you. So, you're really trying, and maybe you're thinking every time you interact with a customer, oh, this customer might be the next, like I might get to this, level, and like I might get there. And that mindset, it's sick, isn't it? Like that's a weird mindset to have, instead of like, oh, this person just came in today. Great. I gave them, good service, and now we're on our way. It is very bizarre. It like you're making this credit card companies money, like you're working with them, like you're working for them. You don't know that you're working for them, but you're working for them. Like your paycheck isn't saying it's from, Visa or MasterCard, but you are, and it's such, like, the other thing is that some store credit cards don't actually count toward your overall credit. If you can only use that credit card, like if you get a Macy's card and like you can only use it in Macy's, it doesn't count. It doesn't count. So like you're thinking maybe like, oh, maybe I'm helping this person out. Well, you're not. Like you're first of all, you're probably making Macy's a lot of money. Like, no doubt about that, right? But also like they're making money off of their, cahoots with this credit card company, and it's not providing much. It's not providing much. Like if they can't use it outside of Macy's, it doesn't count towards their whole credit. Oof. Isn't that crazy? Like that just is crazy to me. And yeah, like you can definitely look up this stuff. Like again, if you can only use the card in that store, it doesn't count. Yeah, amazing. So like I just think of all of those like moving pieces as moving pieces. Like you're just ending up making money for this other company that you don't even work for, but you do. Yeah. But it's kind of similar for like the pharmaceutical companies. they like kind of have this like setup so that like everyone kind of works within this this system, but like it's not like the like you don't know that you're working in this system, like it's weird, you know again, it's one of those like, okay, that's interesting. So I know that a lot of people don't like Martin, is it Shkreli? Shkreli, right? Because he's the farmer bro. I think he took the fall. And it's not like I think that he did something miraculous, but I was really hoping that something would change, um, because what he did wasn't illegal. Raising the prices, he didn't go to jail for that. He didn't go to jail for that. He went to jail. He went to jail because he defrauded, and he defrauded investors for a hedge fund and tried to make another company, their stocks go down so that the hedge fund would have more benefit, like they would get more money out of their hedge fund. That's why he went to jail. He went to jail for like basically market manipulation. He did not go to jail. He did not go to jail because he raised the prices of the drugs, right? Let me tell you, this is a wide scale thing. When you do things that are kind of immoral and people end up not liking you, they'll find a reason to send you. Like they'll find a reason to like kind of make your life miserable. So send you to jail. But also, I mean, I've seen it in like oh my gosh, in workplaces where it's like, they just end up not liking one person, and then they're like, oh, you didn't dot that I. Well, you're out of a job. So even though everyone else doesn't dot that I either, nope, you're the one. You're the one that they didn't like, and they found a reason, And I was really, oh my gosh, I was really like, I respect that he didn't answer any questions at Congress, right? Like when they interviewed him and everything, because they benefit from the pharma lobby. They really do. Like, why have they never? But also have the capacity to make a law that says you can't raise the prices of drugs over the course of 15 years or 5 years more than 15%. They can make that law. They can make that law. That could be a law. They're not going to make it because of the pharma lobby. Because of the pharma lobby and PACs, political action committees. Because pharma can just be like, oh, well, we gave $1 million to this PAC that you benefit from, so you're not going to make laws like that, right? Because it wouldn't benefit us. And you might not get that $1 million for your next campaign, right? Think about it. So pharma, it's weird. It all ties in together. So pharma, right? What really happens, the reason why like someone would increase the rate of the drugs, right, is because of insurances. Because insurances will approve only X amount of money, but like the higher the cost is, the more that they'll give toward that. So you've seen these things where it's like they charged me $100 for a Band-Aid. This Band-Aid, it costs really 5 cents. It's not because they expected you to pay. They wanted insurance to pay. And it cost, and charging $100 meant that they would probably get like $9 or $10 for one Band-Aid. It wasn't about whether or not they really felt that the value of one Band-Aid was $100. It was what the insurance said they would cover for a Band-Aid. I know. So raise the rate of these drugs, right? And insurance will pay you more money, so you'll get more money. And I think that Shkreli is just a product of a capitalist society. Like, he's been told throughout his entire life, you have to make money, you have to make money, you have to make money. Now, what he did wasn't moral, obviously, but it wasn't legal. And he knew that. And that's why, like, you know, any sort of like, he didn't get in trouble for raising the cost of the drugs. He got in trouble because he manipulated the market, right? Like, you understand? Like, he didn't go to jail because he raised the you know, the cost of that. And I think it was just really like pressure from, you know, media on, like, you know, whatever judge or whatever, to have him punished in some way. So it's really the pharmaceutical companies, and it's just trying to get money from insurances. That's it. That's the system that's in there. It's interesting to me that doctors who don't work for pharmaceutical companies sometimes have, in the past, they don't do it anymore to the scale that they did, but they used to give incentives for how many prescriptions you wrote. Do you see like how many people you sign up for credit cards, how many prescriptions you wrote, and you get a kickback? So they would do things like, I know that there was a book called Pills A Go-Go. It's a very old book now. It's, you know, out of date, obviously. But they talked about, like, send the reps in, right? So the rep is just a cog. They don't do, like, they're not, you know, they work for the company. They're just trying to make a buck, really, you know, and like, they're probably have some quota too and incentives. But doctors would get free trips to, like, Hawaii or, like, Brazil. There were rumors about, like, a, you know, pharmaceutical company making like or giving away to a doctor a surfboard, like all of these type of things. Now, I mean, I know you've been to a doctor's office, hopefully, and you've seen, like, you know, they give promotional pens and stuff. Like, that's not what we're talking about. That, like, you don't get a million pens just because you prescribed, you know, like 1,000 like prescriptions in like a couple of months. Like, no, you're getting, you know, quite a bit. And they do this send a representative in because they feel like doctors don't really have enough time. They can't research all of the things. So they send someone in to say, this is what this drug does. This is what the research that we're doing. And, you know, I think that we'd all like to think that pharmaceutical companies are just doing research. They're trying to do good things. But, like, they're also a part of a system that's trying to make a lot of money, and they're kind of doing it pretty well, unfortunately, I guess, or fortunately, I don't know. And so, yeah, it's this whole interesting dynamic that, like, you know, when you watch even The Pharmacist, which I think was on Netflix, about, like, you know, there's all of this, like, opioid dependency, but then there's also that there's the opioid dependency and addiction, but, like, it's not like those people were like, oh, I'm, you know, gonna get money, or I'm gonna get those pharmaceuticals. There were issues, obviously, that made the addiction happen, that the doctors were kind of a part of, that the representatives were kind of a part of, that the lobbyists are kind of a part of, but pharmaceutical is part of, you know, and the insurance companies are kind of a part of, but not really. It's all connected. And so, like, when you see these systems, it's so weird, you know, to be like, okay, well, yeah, I mean, luckily, you know, the drug rep, pharmacy, and, like, doctors or pharmaceutical companies and doctors are, like, interacting differently now, but it had to come with obviously some change. Like, like, you know, people felt like it wasn't right the way that things were going, you know. So I thought that I would share that. And I hope that was beneficial to you. I hope, again, that things change. And I will talk with you soon. All right. Thanks so much.